What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here, and I think everybody knew it was coming. We just have to talk about Team Vitality. It seems like at this point, after this first week where there's going to be spoilers in this video. We're going to be talking about the LEC week. We're going to be talking about the week that was, the weeks ahead. So again, if you're looking out for spoilers, watch out, whatever. But Team Vitality went 0-3 this past weekend. And it seems like at this point, everyone has an opinion. There's everything from spring split doesn't matter, the first week doesn't matter, they're still the best team in the LEC, they're going to be just fine, to wow, Team Vitality sucks, I knew it, they might not even make playoffs, and that Alfari sucks, Perk sucks, Selfmade sucks, Carzzy sucks, Labrov sucks, none of them were ever good. You know, there's literally every single take in between. In this video today, I just want to go over a little bit of what happened this past weekend for Vitality, what maybe to look ahead to for them in the future a little bit, some bad news to talk about, and some good news as well. This will not just be an all negative Team Vitality video, but they're a team that, again, we have to talk about. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that so much. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content, and consider checking out the first link in the description below for the new merch we just dropped. And there's some boxes underneath the description and stuff too. I think it's some cool, fun pieces. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that stuff. But with that being said, let's get right into this. So coming into the year, depending on who you ask, some people had Vitality as the best team in the West. I know when we looked at the global power rankings coming into the season, both Upcomer and Dot Esports had Vitality as the best Western team and like a top 7 or 8 team in the world. I think both websites had them around 7th best team in the world. And to me, that was a little bit strange. You know, I didn't personally see them as the best team in the West. I personally did not even see them as the best team in the LEC. I had Fnatic as the best team in the LEC. And if I had to take a second best team in the West, I probably would have taken Team Liquid over Vitality. But I thought for sure Vitality was in that second, third, fourth category. To me, they stood out as obviously a very, very talented team with a lot of big names, but I wasn't as blown away by this roster on paper as some other people were. Now, obviously, with that all being said, I did not expect for them to go 0-3 this weekend. And when we take a look at the games that they did play, obviously here we have the first game of the season, which was against Mad Lions, and Mad Lions looked really, really good in this game, and Vitality looked bad as well. You know, some Vitality members looked okay. I thought Carzzy kind of stood out to me as having a pretty good game in this one. I thought he was decent. I thought Perk stood out on the negative side as looking pretty bad, but overall, you know, Vitality looked really, really good. Elyoya came out and popped off on Diana 8-1 and 10. Unforgiven looked really, really solid on Karthus. Arma played, you know, fine on Renekton. He looked really, really strong. Kaiser kind of had some ints and some weird plays, but overall they looked good. Reeker, he looked serviceable in the mid lane. I didn't think he looked great. I didn't think he looked bad. It was fine overall. Mad Lions is a strong team. I think people gave Vitality a pass for the most part for this one. You know, they're going up against the two-time defending LEC champions. This team got out of groups at Worlds last year. Yeah, they don't have Humanoid. Yeah, they stole Carzzy over, but still, Elyoya, Kaiser, two of their better players, maybe even their two best players from the last season, you know, depending on who you ask. People didn't really blame them too much for this. You get to this Fnatic game that was super, super weird. Vitality had like a 6, 7, 8,000 gold lead, something like that, and they still end up losing this one. You know, Selfmade gets really, really fed on Kiana, and then just kind of does nothing from there. I thought this game was super, super weird because outside of Selfmade on the Kiana, the team wasn't able to get a lot done. You see a 1-1-3 from Perks, a 1-3-3 from Carzzy, a 0-6-8 from Labrov. And Fnatic, even though they started slow, you know, Wonder talked about in the post-game interview how, you know, they weren't really too worried. They thought they had a comp that was going to be hard for Vitality to close the game out on, a comp they thought Vitality was going to struggle to play into, and then Fnatic, you know, they ended up coming back and winning. But again, people wanted to give Vitality a little bit of a pass. You know, they said 2 games into the season, they perhaps played the 2 best teams in Mad Lions and Fnatic. You know, it's not the end of the world. You start 0-2, who really cares? And then finally we get into this third game against Excel. Excel was also 0-2. So now you can't say they're playing against the defending champs. You can't say they're playing against one of the best teams in the LEC, if not maybe the favorites to win the LEC split this year. They're playing against Excel, who, you know, I had as a middle of the pack team. I still think has a chance to be a middle of the pack team this year. But again, they were 0-2. They weren't coming out of the gates hot. They're not a crazy talented team. On paper, Vitality should be better than them at pretty much every single position. And Vitality came out and laid an absolute egg once again. And this game was so weird. Because there were some bright spots. Again, you know, Carzzy, you know, picks up a couple kills on the Jinx. He's 4-3-0. But overall, Vitality just looked so bad. They look like they're not playing well together as a team at all. It looks like they don't have an identity. I think they're coming out with strange drafts that, at least in my opinion, don't have like a clear identity, clear win condition, a clear play style. It looks like they have a lot of different players playing a lot of different ways and struggling to find a player, a lane, or a play style to play around. And that's not super surprising. You know, we're 3 games into the season. Offseason was crazy, a ton of moving parts. These are all big name, kind of big identity, big ego players that they're all coming from a million different teams. You know, Carzzy, yeah, he had a great season last year. He played for Mad Lions. They did awesome things. They played very different than Perkz played on Cloud9. They played very different than Self-Made played on Fnatic and Vitality. Alphari played very different on Team Liquid. You know, almost none of these guys were playing on similar style teams in the past season. You know, Alphari obviously wants to play very top-sided. He wants to you know, play around him. I'm sure Perkz has an idea of wanting to play around him. We know Self-Made has kind of a unique style of jungling that's very different than, you know, like Elyoya, Yanko, some of these other junglers we see in the LEC. And then I'm sure Carzzy, you know, wants to play around him as well. And it can be really weird. But again, we've gotten off to this 0-3 start. And again, people are saying, you know, is Vitality done? Are they this? Are they that? And I wanted to say on the bright side for Team Vitality, we do actually have a couple instances of teams starting out the year really slow. I want to take a look at 2019 Fnatic. Actually started out the year 0-4. Started out the year 1-5, headed into, you know, 3 weeks into the season, and they still went on to have a very successful year. They still went 11-7 and finished 3rd place in the LEC, which, you know, is really good considering that rough 1-5 start. Obviously Vitality has higher goals than that. You know, this Fnatic team, they didn't win the title in the spring. They didn't make it to MSI. They didn't even make it to the finals. And Vitality definitely wants to win the championship. They definitely want to go to MSI. They want to do well at MSI. You know, this team is built to dominate the LEC and also to, you know, go on and do things internationally. We know that that's one of Perkz' main goals at this point in his career. I'm sure he doesn't care that much about LEC titles anymore. He cares about trying to win Worlds, trying to win MSI, trying to add to his legacy. We know guys like Alphari and you know, Carzzy just got a couple championships already. He doesn't probably care that much more about championships anymore. But it at least shows. Also, we have 2020 Schalke, who actually started out the year 0-7 and was 1-10 after 5 weeks, who they did go on to go 8-10, which obviously is a bad record. If Vitality goes 8-10, that would be a major disappointment. But they at least made the playoffs. Now, obviously, in between there's a ton of other teams who started 0-3 and then finished like 8th, 9th, or 10th in the LEC, didn't make the playoffs, just had absolute disasters of years. But it still shows that there is some hope for Vitality left, that they aren't completely doomed. Again, yes, they are 0-3. Yes, that loss to Excel was very bad. But I think they win that game against Fnatic, you know, some percentage of the time. And Fnatic and Mad Lions are for sure 2 of the better teams in the LEC. Now, obviously, Mad Lions went on to lose to like SK or something, I believe. So it's kind of weird that, you know, a lot of teams are off to slow starts and no one's really dominating. But overall, I think not a lot is going right for Vitality. And I really wonder how this team and how these players and how these egos are going to handle losing. I really question kind of what the coaching staff is doing. I have to imagine it's very hard to coach a team like this of veteran players, egos, you know, all this stuff. But again, this team seems just poorly coached at this point. This team seems like a team without an identity, that doesn't have an emphasis, that doesn't have a focal point, that hasn't yet identified, this is how we're going to win the game. This is going to be our strength. This is going to be, you know, the style we play, the comps we play, the lane we play through. Are we going to go, you know, aggressive early? Are we going to be a mid-game team? We're going to be late game, you know, all those things that a team has to know if they want to be really strong at a very high level. They have to have all those things ironed out. Again, are you expected to have all those things ironed out after just 1 week? No. So I don't think Vitality is totally finished. But I did say coming into the year that I thought people might be overrating them a little bit. And as crazy as it sounds, yes, we're only 3 games in, but the LEC has some tough teams. Rogue looks good to start the year. Fnatic is going to be good the whole year. Mad Lions is going to be a strong team against this year. G2 factors into this whole thing somehow. And then, yeah, I think Vitality's going to turn it around. But that's 5 very tough and very strong teams that are going to be competing for 1 MSI spot and 3 world spots. It is possible. We could be in a world where Vitality, despite having Alfari, despite having Perks, despite having Self-Made, despite having all this talent and all the trash talk and all the storylines and all the money spent on this Vitality super team that finally came together, there could be a world where Vitality is not playing at the World Championships and, 2 years in a row, like the super team in the LEC could fail miserably. And again, it might sound crazy, it might sound unrealistic, but we just saw a team who I think on paper last year in G2 was better than this Vitality team that we're seeing on paper. So I guess it wouldn't be that crazy, but man, a rough start for Vitality in a lot of different ways. And again, I don't think they're done yet. I don't think they're screwed, but man, I'm concerned. I'm at least worried. I'm at least skeptical. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Let me drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Team Vitality. Do you think they're screwed? Do you think they're finished? Do you think they're going to be okay? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.